Deploying applications from the cloud can be complicated with a raft of technical issues. With app distribution in Ivanti Neurons for UEM, you can easily deploy applications to your users' devices with a simple package distribution. You can also take advantage of the perpetual app deployment to detect and push app packages when needed. You can view deployment status of your app packages, confirming if your devices are in compliance. In this demo, we'll show you the benefits of Ivanti Neurons for UEM app distribution capabilities and how they can help you deploy vendor and custom applications from the cloud, stage complex app installations, and keep track of software compliance. The ease of use provided by app distribution makes it simple and straightforward to deploy applications to your users' devices. With an intuitive interface and automated processes, you can quickly push out the application packages to all your devices. Once you log in, go ahead and click on App Distribution in the navigation bar. And here we got the app catalog. And you can see here's a list of applications that we already have configured. We're going to go ahead and create a simple package first for Notepad++. So let's go ahead and click on Add. So we want to go ahead and give it a name, make it easier for our users to know what it is, our analysts. Later on, click and give it a description real quick here. We can see when it was created, last modified, and who modified it last. And we do have the on-demand install here icon selection, so I'll go over that later on. I'll just click on, but we're going to go ahead and just do a simple one for right now. Let's go and click on package. As you can see, we have multiple stages: detection, download file, execute MSI instead of just execute an AXE. We got a file operations for copy, delete, unzip, and so on. Reboot, and we have the ability to use a script if we want to install an application and also do a check. We'll go over detection later on when we do persistent installs. But I want to go ahead and first click on download file, and we'll go ahead and select where we want to download the file from. So from the URL, we're going to go and click on the location we want to install it from. And you can see here we're going to download it from that GitHub. And next we're going to go ahead and put a file hash to make sure when it downloads the file correctly. And if it fails, it will go ahead and we could say we could continue on failure, but we're going to fail it. I want to go ahead and fail it there. Next, we could just say execute, and this will execute from the local directory on the in the Ivanti agent install directory. And we can say we could run as system interactive current user or current user interactive. We can also say we can do several file operations. So it's still very simple. If, for example, if you have an agent on there that prevents running installs or MSIs from any location but a certain location for installation, like say, like Carbon Black, we can say, okay, we want to go ahead and create a folder if it doesn't exist in there. And we assume that if it fails, that it might fail because it already exists. So we're going to say continue here. Then we're going to go ahead and do another file operation. We're going to copy that file to that directory. Notice that we have multiple operations. We could copy, we could create a folder, we could delete, move, rename, unzip it, or zip it. So I'm going to go ahead and say copy, and I'm just going to move that file to make it simple, because we don't want to use up the extra disk space. So once that file operation is done, we can just execute. We have options to go ahead and reboot, and if we want to reboot after an install. Since I don't want to reboot after installing Notepad++, since it's not changing anything in the operating system, I'm just going to go ahead and delete that, and we're going to go ahead and save. And we're going to give it a name, a comment, version, same as the first one, and there we go. And we could go and we could see the file there. And as we could look at the package, we have that version. Now, if we edit that version, we could go ahead and, I want to go ahead and reboot the file in there. So we could save it, added, reboot, save, and we can see we have two different versions in there. But I really, after doing some testing, I want to go back, after, testing it out, I want to go back to make this the current version. I can say, okay, current version, don't need to reboot. save, and it goes back to the current version as version 3. So we want to go ahead and distribute this package out. We could do that. We could add a distribution. We could say, we want to say a specific device if we want to make it easy. We could say neurons groups. If you got groups in the device groups in neurons, you can select which groups you want to get added to. Like if I want to just go Windows Client PCs, I could do that. And go ahead and it will distribute it automatically. When an analyst is faced with a service request that requires installation of a non-standard application, app distribution allows them to quickly and automatically download and install applications on demand. This eliminates the need for manual installation, which can be time-consuming and prone to human error. With app distribution, analysts can cut down their workload significantly while still providing reliable applications for their users. Now, what if I wanted to make this available on demand to be installed by, for example, your support analyst or one of your security engineers, that they need to install it for whatever reason to troubleshoot, or they need it for the client wants to have it installed on their computer, and you don't need to pass this application around to everybody because only certain people, number of people need it. So you need it for on-demand reasons. So let's go back to click on overview. You see here we got the on-demand install. Once this is enabled, this will make it available in Ivanti Workspace under Devices. So if we click on Devices, we click on the machine that I want to install it on. So let's say I want to install it on one of my desktop machines. We could check what I usually do is check to see if it's already installed. We do see it, but it's an older version. I want to install the newest version. So I could go ahead and say install this app, select the app, and say install. And it's really that simple to do. App distribution in Ivanti Neurons for UEM is a powerful application deployment solution that provides users with the ability to deploy applications from the cloud. You can configure Neurons to push out an app package when it detects that an application is not installed or has been changed. This is especially useful for deploying security agents in secure communication applications, such as in Ivanti's Neuron Zero Trust Agent, in order to keep your devices in compliance. So in here, we can go ahead and we want to go ahead and make sure an app is always installed on a endpoint or computer or a set of computers. First, where you need to go ahead and click on App Configuration. And as you can see, I already have it already installed app configuration. So we're going to click on there. You can see here our options are install once or always required it to be installed. So we're going to go ahead and save that there. Now we go ahead and go into app catalog. We want to make sure that we're using the right version of an app. So for example, if there's VLC, we're going to go ahead and go into the package. And this is going to be very especially useful for security agents to make sure that you're using the right version and the right, if it has been, make sure it hasn't been changed. So we're going to go ahead and we already added the detection. If you look at the detection, you can see I already have an OR statement. So if any of these don't match, it will go ahead and install the app. So for example, if the file version doesn't match the version I specifically say, or for example, if it doesn't exist in that location, that file does not exist, or if the checksum, which is if the file's been changed for some reason, or some virus has changed it or something of that nature, or some other agent has changed it and you don't want it to change, you can put a hash in there to make sure that it keeps that version in there. So we got that detect, and you might even want to do a reboot afterwards, and if you feel that it's if it's been a issue, to reboot after installing. I'm going to go ahead and put it in there. We're going to go ahead and save that, and we're going to say add reboot and detection. We're going to go save. Now we're going to go into distribution. We're going to add distribution. We're going to say, we're going to title it always installed. And we're going to click on app configuration and always installed. And that will enable it, and we can say which targets we want to apply it to. So for example, I want to apply it to that device that we had earlier, my desktop device. I'm going to say add, save, and it's always going to be installed on that application. That application is always going to check to make sure it's that version and we'll check on it and install it. We'll go ahead into reporting afterwards to show what those deployment status look like. App distribution within Ivanti Neurons for UEM allows IT professionals to keep track of software compliance and confirm that applications are being installed on their devices. The deployment status page allows for detailed analytics so users can easily identify any issues with their deployments or installations and quickly adjust as needed. So in here, we're going to go click on display deployment status in the navigation bar. We're going to collapse it real quick here. And then here, you can see we're on the deployment status page. Notice that we have 4 graphs, one dealing with compliance, second one dealing with device errors, third one dealing with app errors, and the last one dealing with pending installs. On the bottom here, we have the list of devices that in their state and the results and when they were last updated and the start date of those app distribution. And as with any of our other graphs, it's very simple to parse through this data by simply clicking on information in the bar graphs in here. For example, I want to see what devices are not compliant. We'll click on here, and it'll give you a list of devices that are not compliant. We could still filter. We can clear the filters here, and we could always change, make a selection, and say, okay, I want to say which application specifically. I want to say ZTA agents. Say, okay, gives me the information on just the ZTA agents who are not in compliance. This will make it easy for you to parse through this data and be able to make sure your devices stay within compliance with app distribution. Overall, Ivanti Neurons for UEM is an invaluable solution for enterprises looking to streamline their application deployment process while taking advantage of modern cloud technologies. It provides an efficient way for IT professionals to deploy applications from the cloud securely while ensuring all components are up to date. With its ability to leverage scripts, compress files, modify registry keys, and execute specific commands using stages, users can easily complete their complex and customized installs with confidence, knowing that they always have an up-to-date software running within their environment.